Hey guys, I'm Alex,
And I'm Will.
and this is Flashbacks, and this is the little episode that could. We were trying to record this for a minute here. My computer
Yes.
actively just did not want to do its job today. Did not want to open Zoom. Did not want to do anything. So we're doing a little different. I'm doing it through the browser thing today, and yeah. So just off the top, I know you kind of. Oh, we got a little guest right there. I see.
Yes. It's my dog Caesar. Yes, he's with me for a car
Nice.
ride today.
Yeah, me and Caesar go back.
Yes. He did.
But but yeah, I'll just go ahead and get into it. But before I do that, I know you kind of addressed it on your other podcast. How's it feel to be married, man?
Yes, I definitely did. So it's you start to look at things that like happen in the world and like obviously finances being a big one and different things like that a lot differently.
Yeah,
It changes your whole perspective on everything, even just daily conversations that you have with people and like the way you interact. Like, yeah, it's you
definitely.
you don't think going into it that it's going to be any different than what you're already used to. No, it's yeah,
Hmm.
completely upside down in a
Yeah.
good way. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, the podcast I am referring to for you guys is it's up. They're up to episode 3 now. It's a fairly new podcast, so go ahead and start get on the ground floor basically and just start, getting into it. But speaking of getting into it, we're going to go ahead and get into this episode called I think it's called The Flash is Born.
Yes, that's correct.
I have it in the description. And at first, I was kind of scratching my head before it went on. I'm like, what does that mean? I'm like, this is just a generic title. But then, like, I found out, I'm like, oh, this is the one where they finally stopped calling him the cringy name that is like the streak.
The Yeah, I keep thinking about the blur, but I'm thinking about Smallville, the red blue blur. Yeah, the streak,
Yeah,
the
I had
hood.
the same thing. And yeah. And my thing with it is I actually recently I guess I'll just mention some of the trivia stuff that I found out. I bought season 1 recently. I didn't know they did commentary tracks, but they do. And
Yeah.
so the first episode, apparently, I don't know if I've ever brought this up before, but they were originally going to kill Joe off in the pilot.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I don't remember who talked
Like,
about this before or not. It sounds familiar, but yeah,
yeah.
that's crazy.
I'm like, I'm glad they didn't do that because I'm like, he's like one of the main center points of that. Like, you would lose so many story opportunities just for. I'm sure it was just like shock value at the
Oh
time.
yeah, for sure. But him and Wells are the two best characters this entire season, so I'm very glad they didn't.
Yeah, definitely. This is one of the stronger ones. I we'll just give a brief one and we'll kind of get into. I have some notes this time around, but the basic premise is that Barry encounters someone that used to bully him when he was younger, and now he has to face him as kind of like a superhero, which
Yep.
is interesting. He the hilarious thing that's kind of true to life though too, I noticed with this character is that like he hasn't changed since like high school, like
Yeah.
literally like verbatim. Like I know people like this, but like it's not usually to this point where it's like almost a parody kind of thing where like
Yeah.
homeboy did not change other than getting his braces taken out. Like that's the only real difference.
Yeah. Literally. Yeah, no,
But yeah,
I would agree with your sentiment too. I think this is definitely one of the stronger episodes of the season.
yeah,
The couple that we've done so far, they've been like, a couple that were pretty good, couple that were like, man, this is the first one that started to feel like, okay, this is the Flash for me. Yeah.
yeah,
Ironically, the Flash
exactly.
is born, but yeah.
Yeah, and just going off my notes real quick. Speaking of the bully, I like that like Barry has like his first like physical threat, I feel like in this one, where
Yeah.
before it was just people with powers basically, and now this one's like somebody that can actually beat him up. And it's like it almost like takes him back to when he was younger, like he's that little kid again that's getting pushed around by the bully. So I thought that was like
Mhm.
really cool, like parallel storytelling.
Definitely. And I think you also see some more complexity with Barry in this one, right? You start to
Yeah.
see the some of the anger that he can have at times, right? Because he's not as disciplined yet.
Mm. Yeah, definitely. And I was actually because I our timeline is a little different because you guys don't know this, but we recorded an episode in advance that will be coming up
Yes.
next month. And so in my head, I'm like, wait, though, but like, and it's a rewatch podcast. I'm like, Oliver should have taught him how to fight. I'm like, that hasn't happened yet. Like, that's it's a few
Yeah.
episodes from now. Like, this is
Well,
building up the
it's
need for him
yeah.
to do that.
It's kind of fitting that we did that, being that this show deals with a lot of time travel and stuff. So we recorded the future episode in the past.
Right.
Yeah.
It's gonna be weird once we finally do get around to that,
Yeah.
like that episode, because like so much has happened. I really just hope it's not dated. Like I know we do bring up some stuff in there that
Like the
about
Stephen Amell stuff.
Amel, but like other than that, it should. Hopefully, it's not.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's still evergreen to an extent because like other than him protesting with people, like he like I feel like that stink of that thing is still there. But yeah,
Yeah.
I did like speaking of side characters, I did like what'd you think of what they did with Eddie, how they're kind of making him and Barry friends? Did you like that development?
Yes, so I really, really, and man, it's so funny because when we first watched the show, both you and I said that we didn't really care for Eddie that much a lot. The more that we do all this
Yeah.
rewatch, Eddie's great, man. He's just a nice guy trying to help out the whole time.
Yeah. There,
So yeah, I
it's a
like it.
weird moment. I think this is one of his first roles. If there's a weird moment, and I don't, this might just be a me thing, but you know when they're doing like the punching bag thing, and like he's
Yeah,
trying to teach him to like basically like you know work through some anger and stuff like Barry's punching the bag, but like when he's holding it like it was a weird choice I feel like the actor made
yeah,
where like he was like smiling as it like almost creepily as he was holding
yeah,
like the punching bag, like he's like come on Barry or something like that. I was like what is this?
yeah, for sure. No, come on,
That's
man.
always been
Okay,
weird to me.
he had to get in his
But yeah,
comments too. Yeah.
oh yeah, he has a lot to say, but yeah, another thing that I liked, and I'm sure it was a budgetary thing, is the we're just gonna kind of go through different notes, but the final fight taking place in the school, like as
Mhm.
kind of like him finally beating him, but he doesn't though, does he? Like he almost does, like he does his like he reels back and does the punch, but he gets back up, and then Iris
Does the final
playing off that
punch?
earlier thing,
Yeah,
yeah, that I actually liked that. That was cool. That was a cool setup and payoff. Like, especially it
agreed.
gave her something to do
I think
too.
it was really cool the way
Yeah,
that they brought it right back to the school and as a set piece for that too, which is really nice. Good touch.
yeah, definitely. And I know that like one of the other things that this episode, I think the reason it's so successful is because of it's just a well written one. Like they have a lot of just like it's basic stuff, but just a lot of really good like setup and payoff kind of things. Like
Yeah.
with Joe telling him to run the other way. And then you get that scene where you think like he just bounces, but like he's just getting enough runway to go back. Like that's it. The bully was weird in this, right? Like a little bit.
Yeah, he definitely didn't feel like he had grown up really at all since high school. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I didn't mind him. I won't
Hmm.
say that his acting was like superb or anything like that, or that there was a lot of depth to his character because there's
Yeah.
not. But he definitely felt like that stereotypical unlikable jerk in high school, which it's so funny to me, and I don't know how you feel about this, but superhero movies and comics do this a lot where like the superhero was
Hmm.
bullied and stuff like that. Me
Yeah.
personally, and this could be wrong, but like when I went to high school, I didn't really deal with anybody like that that actually felt
Yeah.
that fit that like archetype. So it's
Hmm.
always funny to me when they have a character like that, or like a Flash Thompson in Spider-Man, stuff like that.
Yeah. Because I feel like honestly, like speaking of bullying, I feel like it's probably closer to what the Homecoming movies did, where like a lot of bullies, at least from my experience, I was bullied a little bit when I was younger, but like it's just usually verbal stuff. It's not usually ever like they're
Like
gonna
physical.
beat up
Yeah.
on you kind of thing. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
not really a thing.
Not that
But
I
yeah,
ever saw, at least. I'm sure it
I
happened
mean,
somewhere, but I never saw it for sure.
yeah, I'm sure, like, of course it happens somewhere, but most of the time it's just you get the people being like, oh, like, say a bunch of horrible stuff and just be like, I'm just kidding though, I'm just playing kind of thing. I'm like, no, you're not.
Yeah.
But yeah,
People are just
so
being insecure. Yeah.
yeah. And I did like, speaking of, I have a Batman podcast, obviously. I did like that Flash did a Batman exit in this one where like Iris was talking and then like he zoomed off before she turned around. I'm like, that was kind of cool.
Poor Jim Gordon. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel Yeah.
But yeah.
For
And
sure.
then oh, another thing, they give Joe all the best lines in this. I like
Yeah.
that they have the whole boxing, the thing I mentioned earlier. And did you think, was it just me, or did you think that they were actually going to go somewhere to box, and then they just ended up going upstairs because it was probably cheaper budgetary wise to do that? Like that's always kind of like, I'm
Yeah.
like, why are they doing it in his crime lab? Like there's like a bunch of like sensitive equipment in there. They're in there like sweating everywhere and like boxing and stuff.
Yeah, you would think they
Like,
would have like their own fitness center or something, being a police station where they would do that at. But yeah, it's probably budgetary, I'm sure.
yeah, it's just
Yeah.
you notice more stuff like that when you go back, because I think when I originally watched it, I don't think it even really registered the first time around.
Yeah,
But
I would
and
agree. And there's
then
also a really cool subplot in this, dealing with Joe and Wells the whole time, which is pretty
yes,
interesting. Yes.
he that was actually one of my favorite scenes, and I did make a note about that. I like that Joe kind of has in the back of his head like Wells knows more about this and he might even be involved, and I like that he lulls him into like a false sense of security at first by doing all
Yeah.
that joking around when they go out for drinks, and then just to finally, like, he's so, you can tell without them really like spelling it out for you that Joe is like a really experienced cop, and that like he's just
Yeah.
like, it's almost second nature, this interrogation thing for him, to where like he doesn't, well, even Wells being from the future, doesn't even see this coming, that like that like Joe is going to start looking and snooping around, which actually leads to a really cool development at the end, which we'll get to. But
Yeah. Do you
yeah.
think do you think there's any part of Wells or Eobard obviously at this point where he actually, like, I know what his in-game plan is, but do you think
Yeah,
there's a part of him that actually felt like, oh man, I really thought we were going to be friends out here, like going to get, a drink or something like that? Like, do you think he's ever conflicted about his mission with all these relationships he built?
I know that, and this is something we talked about in the future, actually, but like I
Yeah.
know that he, I know when he originally initially got there that his mission was clear, but I think like after time, it probably dulled a little bit, and I know that definitely he addresses this later. He does grow attached to Barry in like a weird way. And
Yeah.
so like
And
I think
Cisco.
I think definitely. Yeah, cuz he makes relationships with this guy. Like he's not a robot, which is what makes him interesting. Like he's not so single-minded to where
Yeah.
like he won't have these human moments and everything. And that, I think that's what makes him interesting, and we'll get into it later. But like he, in further appearances, it kind of diminishes his character because it's not the one we grew attached to in the first season.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
I
yeah,
would agree.
definitely. I think definitely, and I do think that the Reverse Flash is somewhat delusional, in some ways. Definitely with the whole. I think he genuinely means that to, like, at least a little bit, that he, like you said, that they could have been friends and stuff. Like I do
Yeah.
think that Eobard is that delusional that he thinks that he can be friends with the with
Yeah.
the
Well,
father figure of the kid's
he
parents
he
he
even
murdered.
he even mentions towards the end to Joe that, well, Barry's lucky to have somebody like you that have his back or something like that.
Yeah,
And
because
I when I
it's
was
one of
watching it, I was like,
okay.
I felt like he might be a little conflicted, like, oh man, that's nice. I wish I could have had that or something, you know. I don't know.
Yeah, because that's the thing. Like, if he really wanted to, and I know the reason he doesn't, because the story you want it to unfold in a satisfying way. But if
Yeah,
he really wanted to, all he'd have to do is just put his like he does later, put like his hand through Joe's chest, and that be it, and then like go
yeah,
high. Like he could literally just start murking multiple people. But I think he's trying to get like we find out that he's trying to get Barry to a place so he can go back or I guess forward in time to where he was from
yeah.
originally because that's in the comics and I think it's been addressed in other places too. But in the original comics, when Reverse Flash kills Barry's parents, he doesn't get stuck or kills Barry's mom. He doesn't get stuck in the past. Like he just goes back. And I think that it's cool that in this that there's kind of a consequence for going that far
Mhm.
back and that the like he has to stay there and kind of just like stew in this like hatred he has for the Flash and yeah, like I definitely do think that like it's like sometimes like I know this isn't a good example or not a good example, this isn't a good movie, but Batman versus Superman, there's a moment
Yeah,
speaking about like the whole vengeance and stuff fading. There is a moment where Batman just like it doesn't matter as much to him. Like you get to a point where like something that you're holding on to, like it's still you care, but it kind of dulls after time, like
yeah,
hatred and stuff.
certainly.
But yeah. And then I this is a funny scene when the bully comes to Iris and and starts flirting with her at first and then mentions something about well, I don't think somebody laid him out or whatever, so I don't think he's gonna be a problem. Like, yeah, I beat up your boyfriend, so now what? Kind
Yeah,
of thing. I'm like, what was his end goal there? Like, I don't get it.
yeah. I don't get it either. He felt very much like a douche the whole time, and it was like it's just very cringe. You know, he's like, well, how about I buy you a drink? Or, oh yeah, I keep in shape. Yeah. It's like,
He
come on, man.
crushes her fall because he got mad and then just puts like a few hundreds in the tip jar. Like that's gonna fix something.
Yeah.
It's like sorry for the damage. It's like come on, man. But yeah, did you buy that Eddie used to be bullied?
Did I buy
By the
that Eddie
way,
used to be bullied? Um,
yeah.
well, I think he gives a compelling reason why. Obviously, he said he
Hmm.
wasn't, in the physical shape that he was there, but with his dad, and I wish they would have explored this more with his character, actually. But with his
Yeah.
dad being a former senator or congressman or whatever, who like shut down a local
Hmm.
factory from his hometown, obviously, I think people,
Yeah.
and like blue collar people would be upset about that and would want to like, because they just took away all their, money, So yeah,
Right. Exactly. And then I am glad that Iris and Barry patched things up. I also like that Iris. There was like a little moment where Iris mistook Barry for the Flash whenever her back was turned, which I
yep,
thought was kind of clever, kind of like a cool little
yeah.
moment. I like when they do stuff like that.
Yeah, and we see
But
that
yeah,
she's starting to find other heroes that she's chasing down too, like the Burning Man and all that stuff. Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
terrible
So they
names,
tease.
man. Like
Yeah,
I know why they do it.
yeah.
But yeah. And then just real quick, I like at the end that Barry and Iris are kind of nerding out about the Flash and like speaking about what you were talking about, and that it's kind of setting up that stuff with Ronnie later on. I forgot that they did so much setup for Ronnie because in my head I'm like, for whatever reason in my head I think he comes in season two, but I
Yeah.
think he is in parts of season two maybe, but I know I forgot that he was such a
Hmm.
building part in like season one. But yeah,
He's in a lot of season one too.
yeah, and he I know that he left because he got in more movies and stuff. But I did actually like his Firestorm for as brief as we actually got to see
Me
him.
too. I like one of my biggest regrets about these early DC shows is I feel like that character was never really fully paid off or fleshed out in the way that it could have been, but
Yeah,
it worked out.
definitely.
I mean,
Yeah, and then I think let me look through my notes real quick. Um yeah, I think that that's it for this one. This was a good episode. We will have
Yeah.
longer episodes in the future. We'll go ahead and go through our thing, but I know in this one, like I said at the beginning, we are kind of on a time crunch today. So yeah. So I will go ahead and say the heart part. Oh, wait. Hold on. Let's stop right there for a second. The ending scene with Reverse Flash, where
Yes.
like he's like a wraith basically and comes through. That was really good. Like, and
Yeah.
kind of like scary. Like, I liked that scene. He was really threatening in there.
Yeah. And I think in the earlier seasons of this show, the villains actually feel like so much more of a threat because
Mm-hmm.
they do feel menacing, right? Because
Yeah.
we haven't fully seen him yet to this point, so we don't know what he's capable of or how strong he is. And then you just see him tear through a room like that. Man, it was
Yeah. We
like
don't even know
between
what
him
his
and
costume looks
Zoom.
like.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Zoom. Oh, dude, Zoom next season. That's gonna be wild. But yeah. The heart for me was definitely the stuff with like I guess just off the top before I forget too. How stupid of it was. I get that it's for the catharsis, but Barry taking off his mask in front of the bully that's inside the cell. I get why he did it, but I'm like, dude, if he ever escapes from there, like you're done. He knows like who you are and everything. Like, come on, man.
Yeah,
It
for
starts a
sure.
track record.
I That didn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that kind of bugged me. But yeah, anyway, the heart for me would be just some of the flashback stuff with Barry and Iris and just the whole like like him teaching him how to fight and everything. I thought that was kind of cool. And then the stuff with Eddie too. I guess I could like slot that into like seeing
Mm.
them come closer and Eddie trying to give him advice about like bullies and stuff like that, which was really nice and helped endear you more to him. The humor for me would be the one scene where they're about to go up and he's like, yeah, I need to hit something to blow off some steam, is what Eddie says. And then Barry's like, what? And then, and then Joe's like, I don't think he meant you. Go. That was
Man.
great. Yeah,
Yeah.
and then the spectacle was obviously the last scene where you saw him ramp up and do something he's never done before, which is launch at somebody with like his fist. That CG was not a superpower in this episode. That CG was rough, man.
Definitely, man. For me, I would say
Yeah.
I think that the heart, I'm gonna stick with the Eddie stuff. I think you really see that
Hmm.
Eddie cares about Iris and that he wants Barry and Iris to make up just because they're good friends, you know what I mean? And he talks about how having a truly good
Yeah.
friend is really hard to find and that you have to hold on to that, which is very important.
Hmm.
Um, as far as humor, forget exactly what happened and what she said, but it was so funny when Caitlin, after Barry had like separated his shoulder or whatever, and she was like,
Hmm.
I don't remember what it was she said, dang it. But it was really sarcastic, and then she just snaps his shoulder really quick. And I was
Yeah,
that was super
because
fun.
he was saying something shitty and just like that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
that was a good
And
scene.
then for
Yeah.
spectacle, I mean, there's really only one answer for this episode, and that was just the
Yeah.
the supersonic punch. Like for that
Yeah.
long man. Yeah.
Exactly. But yeah,
But good episode.
definitely. Yeah, we enjoyed this one. It was definitely better than the last one. We're not going to say fuck you to this guest actor this time, but
Not at all. I think we
but
see him
yeah,
more later on too. Yeah.
that would make sense. But yeah, good stuff. I'm just going to go ahead and let you do your plugs here, and then I'll do my plugs, and then we'll go ahead and wrap it up.
Yeah. Well, how many lightning bolts?
Oh yeah, that's right. I would give it. I'll be generous this time. I'll give it 4 out of 5 because it was just such a tight, well written episode that was really
Yeah.
like narratively satisfying.
I'm right
Yeah,
there with you, man. This is when I look back at the first season of The Flash, this is one of those episodes that I really like remember. I have a lot of
yeah,
nostalgia with, so I would agree.
definitely.
But yeah, thank you guys for listening to this episode. Obviously you can listen to me on here and you can now listen to me on our podcast. It's called It's Up. Me and my friend Austin, we have a podcast over there where we talk about all types of nerdy stuff, all types of culture stuff and things like that. Feel free to listen anytime. Alex will probably be on there sometime soon for something, I'm sure. And
Definitely.
obviously, you can
I
find me
had
on here.
thoughts. Yeah, I had
Yes.
thoughts on the last one. We'll get into that later, though. We'll talk about that
Yeah.
next episode. But yeah,
Good.
definitely. So definitely check this guy's stuff out. Me and him been friends for like a long time. He does good stuff, and him and Austin have good chemistry together. Good podcast. I always like seeing my friends also make podcasts. That's great. And then for me, I obviously the original. We're bringing back What Mean at some point. I do have an episode in the can, and
Yeah.
we obviously have Night of the Batman. That's a weekly. It's trying to be weekly. It's supposed to be a weekly show me and my wife do together that covers everything Batman. Right now we're doing the Court of Owls stuff, and then the other thing obviously is this show, and then the speaking of shows you're going to be on, Tangential Exchange with me and Trip, that will be coming back soon. We just need to find the slot for it. We're really busy, guys. All right, just everybody just back up. All right, we're doing our we're doing our best here. Okay,
For
but
sure.
yeah, um, yeah. And then that's it for us. Thank you for listening. If you have any recommendations or anything you want us to cover, maybe on the off seasons, how I plan to do it now is we'll cover this whole first season. We'll have like a break where we just cover like some middle stuff, like maybe one or two episodes where it's just like either an episode of the 90s show or maybe even one of the movies.
Vixen.
And then we'll jump. Yeah, definitely. And then
Very good
we'll
one.
jump into season 2, which I can not wait for. It's going to be great. But yeah, that's it for us. I'm Alex,
And I'm Will.
and we will see you in the Speed Force. All right. Then I don't know how to. There we go.